Hey, it's Clay at claytrader.com. This will be my top 10 stocks as we head into Thursday, August 12th. This will be a technical analysis breakdown. So if you're somebody that uses technical analysis and charts within your decision-making process as a trader, or who knows, maybe you're just new and you're wanting to learn more about the technical tool of charts to help make good decisions as a trader, then this will be a video for you. And one quick note before I get started, I am actually offering a free live class this evening. So depending on when you watch this video, if it is before the time, then I want to just personally invite you to get signed up for it. And I'll talk more about charts. So like I said, just keep in the back of your mind that if you like what you hear, then you can get signed up for it. If you're watching on YouTube, in the description box, there's a link. Or if you're watching at claytrader.com, there's some places around the page that you're on that you can click to sign up. Now, I should also note that if it's beyond the time, by the time you see this video, then still drop me an email if you want to watch a recording of it, and I'll send it to you, Clay at claytrader.com, and I'd be happy to do so. But like I said, just keep in the back of your mind that I am offering this live class. First stock here, ticker symbol AMC, which I've been doing quite a bit, and rightfully so. It's one of the more popular stocks out there. But today was a very, very bad day in the sense of when things started off, the price came down here and not only broke through that area of support, but also broke through that level of support. So not a good start at all. However, by the time the bell had closed, check what happened. The price got back above that level of support and got back above that level of support. So in other words, a very, very impressive bounce today. I realize I state the obvious when I say that, but when you consider the fact of just how bad it got with breaking both those levels of support to the downside and then recovering back to the upside and getting above both those areas of support, I think it does a good job of illustrating the fact that, it was a very impressive bounce. So I'm going to get rid of these lines there as I think they've served their purpose. And the one level here that I'm now very, very curious about is this trend line right here. Can the price begin to stay above that trend line? And I am going to change that to green to represent more of a bullish dynamic there. But that's going to be a level that helps us kind of just gauge what's going on here. Is the price going to continue to drift upwards? And that's going to also help us gauge the strength of this bounce. I mean, if this bounce comes down here to this trend line and then blasts down through the trend line, well, at that point, in far as technical and terminology is concerned, you would just call this a dead cat bounce. But as long as the price can stay above that green line, then in my mind, the bulls have a fighting chance to start to regain their momentum and make a bigger move to the upside. As far as near-term levels of resistance are concerned, keep an eye on that purple line right there, the 50-period moving average, currently valid at, let's just call it $32.50. But all in all, very impressive bounce. Now it's just a question of can the price continue to build upon this momentum over the next couple of days? Let's see what happens. Next one here, ticker symbol MRNA, and what a train wreck today. However, the power of charts. And this will mean a little bit more to those that, have used charts, but this pink line down here represents the very well-known, the very famous 200-period moving average. Why is it famous? Well, what a coincidence. I mean, look at this thing. This thing was basically just getting destroyed, and then look right where it finally decided to at least start to go sideways, right at that pink line. Now, let me be very clear. Are technical charts the perfect tool? Absolutely not. Nothing is perfect. But are they a tool that can help you make not random decisions? A tool that can help you make rational, logical decisions? Absolutely. And, a perfect example of that, because for sure there are people that were buying down around this pink line, and check it out. They got themselves a very nice, over a 10-point bounce right now, potentially more if this keeps bouncing. But the point here being is that as far as MRNA is concerned moving forward, the key level of support that everybody and their brother's uncle is going to be watching is going to be, again, that pink line there, the 200-period moving average, currently valid at, let's just call it the 375 mark. So 375 is going to be a very watch level. If there are any sort of, attempted continuations of the current bounce right now, main area, or I should say first key level of resistance, going to be right up there around the 394 mark. So keep an eye on that. But yeah, really that's the big dynamic. The big question moving forward is, all right, the price found some support at the 200-period moving average, but can this now produce a bigger bounce? The next couple of days will be very revealing. Next one here, ticker symbol AMD, and finally got the break of this trend line. So this will mean a little bit more to those of you that have watched the past videos, but been talking about that trend line quite a bit. But the price did get the break above it right there. So step one is complete. Now it's just a question of, okay, trend line broken, but is there any sort of true power behind this trend line break, which is a more than valid question. But by using charts, we can make answering that question very straightforward. And at least in my opinion, it's all about now this trend line right here that's been formed. So as long as the price can now stay, and again, I'm going to change this to green to represent more of a bullish attribute, but as long as the price can stay above that trend line, then as of now, you got to say that the trend line break is still in play and that the trend line break still does have some bullish strength behind it. Now, as nice as it would be for a trend line break to just go straight up, that's just not the reality of things. You just want to see slow and steady progress being made. And I do also realize that me saying slow and steady progress, those are just words, right? But that's why I love charts, is because they allow you to take words and phrases and make them very visual. So when I say slow and steady progress, I mean staying above that trend line right there. So like I said, the trend line has been broken. Now it's a question of, well, let's start to measure the strength and health of the breakout. And you can do that by using that trend line right there. So let's see if the price can stay above it or not. Next one here, ticker symbol DYAI, and a very, very impressive move today. Volume came pouring in, and the price behaved very nicely with it. And now we have a couple of well-defined areas here to keep an eye on moving forward. So from the resistance side of things, key level here to watch very closely, going to be right up there around $5.45. If you want to just round up to $5.50, I mean, I wouldn't argue against that. But that is very clearly the area where you can see over here, was rejected. And then even during the last 30 minutes, was rejected once again. And these are, I should have probably noted this earlier, 30-minute candles, meaning each one of these candlesticks, as they're called, represents 30 minutes worth of price action. But point here being, last 30 minutes did get up above that level, but then eventually came back down. So in my mind, that 545 mark is going to be the main level of resistance. And then as far as supports are concerned, get this trend line here in play, which represents more of the support portion of it. And then if I were to just kind of draw this part of the pattern down like this, and then for you golfers out there, I'll put a little golf hole down there to make it more visual. This is what would be known as a bull pennant pattern. So bull pennant pattern here headed into Thursday, with again the key breakout of that pennant being up around the 545 mark. So let's see if the price can get the break or not. Next one here, ticker symbol CWBR, and this was very intriguing because of the last 30 minutes. The last 30 minutes right here, you can see the candle formed is known as a hammer candle, doji candle, whatever you want to call it. But the point here being is things were looking really bad, but then the price was able to bounce back up. So this is really just the play of, all right, a lot of people have already given up on this thing, and rightfully so, to think that this thing was all the way up here and then it basically just trended downwards the rest of the day. I totally understand, and I can see the logic behind saying, no, I'm done with this. However, that's when some, stocks like to make their moves. When everybody forgets about it, when it seems like the party's over, and then all of a sudden, life comes back into play. Now, am I saying that that's what's going to for sure happen? Of course not. No guarantees. Based on this last 30 minutes, is it at least a valid? Is it at least a rational thought process to have? Absolutely. So what I'm very curious about is maybe this big pullback here isn't, maybe the story's not over yet. Maybe the party's not over. Maybe another round of strength is coming, which in my mind is going to make this $1.75 mark a very important level to watch moving forward. Now, again, doesn't guarantee anything, but if the price can recover from all the way down there to there and then get up there and push up through that level, that could be a credible source of, okay, maybe there is some strength that has returned. So keep an eye on that. But you also got to be able to realize that, yeah, maybe this last 30 minutes doesn't mean anything. Maybe this is just going to continue to bleed to the downside. That's also possible. Which is why, in my mind, always kind of smart to have some sort of confirmation area. And in my opinion, that $1.75 mark does a good job of serving of that. So definitely a very interesting play. Is the party over, or is this party, kind of just trying to make everybody forget about it before it all of a sudden starts making a lot of noise again? Let's see what happens with it on Thursday. Next one here, ticker symbol XELA, and you've seen this line already, but check it out once again. That 200 period moving average, the pink line, price bounced right from it. Then right there, bounce right from it, and then today made a nice move to the upside. So there's still strength there. Volume did, return. Not massive, but certainly above average. So it's, again, worth keeping an eye on. It's by no means random to say, hey, XELA might be getting ready to make a bigger move. Guaranteed to happen? No. Is it a logical thought process to have? Absolutely. And that's the power of charts and why I believe they should be used, is because as traders, we want to avoid just making random decisions. We want to avoid throwing darts. And by using charts and understanding these stories, by no means is it any sort of random decision. And in my mind, it is all about that trend line right there. That'll be the key level here that a lot of people are watching. And you can see that whenever the price has approached this trend line, it hasn't been able to quite push through it, even getting rejected right there. But if the price can work its way up there and get the break up through there, that break in and of itself could very well create quite a bit of upwards buying pressure. Because even if you want to call it a self-fulfilling prophecy, if there's a bunch of people that are watching this trend line and all of a sudden the price breaks and those people are saying, hey, I'm a breakout player. Hey, it's breaking out. It's time to buy. That could very well happen. So keep an eye on that as that main resistance area. And then, of course, as I already talked about, the main area of support is going to be that 200 period moving average, that pink line down there, currently valued at $2.85. Next one here, ticker symbol FULC. Did this analysis in the previous top 10 video, and you can see actually did get the breakout this morning via the gap up, and then just basically pulled back the rest of the day. Although it's now created an interesting scenario here on the pullback, because first off, the overall context is still bullish. Now, does, there is a whole lot of perspective that goes into this, meaning, well, if you're a day trader and you bought right there and your plan was to buy and sell within 10 minutes, well, then yes, from that perspective, things are looking really, really bad. But assuming you care about more so the bigger picture, or you're just not quite in yet, then with that pullback and then the stabilization, it's like I said, created a very interesting dynamic here. And that dynamic really revolves, in my opinion, at least right there around that key level of resistance around $20.85. You can see a couple times there, and then a couple more right there. Price tried to get up around that area, couldn't quite push through it. And then the other interesting dynamic here is in a very kind of shorter term perspective, you have this nice little uptrending trend line right there. So you do have some slow and steady progress that's all of a sudden shown back up. So it's at least worth keeping an eye on. So there is, like I said, almost a little miniature ascending triangle pattern here. But does that mean that it's for sure going to explode upwards? No. Is it at least rational to think that the price may be getting ready to try to make another push to the upside? Yeah, according to this pattern, absolutely. But as always, risk management matters, because maybe this is just a little temporary breath before this thing heads back down there to test that next area of support, which I talked about previously, down around the $17 mark. But yeah, it's a very interesting setup, very interesting breakout if the price can get up through that 2085-ish area. So let's see if it can happen or not. Next one here, ticker symbol NSAV. We're down in the world of penny stocks here. And overall, a very interesting setup here, because, and the reason why it's interesting is yesterday was basically just a day where I think a lot of people waved the white flag, and I don't blame them. I mean, it was basically a pump and dump move where the price went right back to where it was. But in a lot of situations, that's where things all of a sudden start to consolidate out. And what we have here is exactly that. We have the price now actually starting to form some higher bases and trending back upwards. Now, does this mean anything? No, maybe this is just a temporary little dead cat bounce. Maybe there's not any sort of true power behind it. But is it at least worth keeping an eye on? Is it at least a rational thought to be thinking, hey, you know what? Maybe this is some sort of turnaround. Now, is the price going to go all the way back up to where it was, at highs, in the 14, 15 cent mark? I'm not saying that. But I mean, even if it just continues up to, let's say, 10 cents, to 5 cents, to 6 cents. I mean, from a penny stock perspective, that could still be a very interesting scenario. So like I said, this could very well be a dead cat bounce. As always, risk management matters. But if this is maybe the start of something bigger, then hey, you know what? Maybe this thing is getting ready to make another try to attempt back up to the 10 cent mark, maybe even higher than that. But, all reversals have to start somewhere. This thing has started to bounce once again. But you just got to be very careful on, whether or not this is a dead cat bounce. And like I said, the first leading indicator that it is a dead cat bounce is if the price were to, break down below that trend line right there. So keep an eye on that. But overall, a very interesting setup. Next one here, ticker symbol ORPH, and a very, very nice setup here, nice pattern. And the reason why I think it's nice is because it's pretty straightforward. And when patterns are very straightforward, that means a lot of people are watching the exact same pattern. And like I mentioned in a previous stock, when a lot of people are watching the same things, call it a self-fulfilling prophecy, call it whatever you want, it can produce some very nice movements. And in my mind, there's going to be all sorts of people watching up there right around that 675 mark, because in combination with that, we have a very nice uptrending trend line right there. And let me, again, get that changed to green. And then when I put in the remainder of the pattern here, should look familiar from a previous stock that I already talked about. But if I put in, the pull portion of it, and then for you golfers out there, put in the hole, we have ourselves yet another bull pennant pattern, with the key breakout area being, like I said, right up there around 675. Now, maybe you're thinking, no, Clay, I think the breakout point is around 650. And honestly, I can see that. So whether you want to call it 650, whether you want to call it 675, that's up to you. If you want to put both on there and, monitor both, I would say that makes sense. But that's going to be definitely the main dynamic here. And the nice thing from a volume analysis standpoint is that after the big surge right here in volume where the price spiked upwards, this whole consolidation area you can see is now mapped out with much lower volume. And like I said, from a volume analysis standpoint, that's what you want to see. You want to see lower volume during consolidations. That's what happened here. So let's see if this bull pennant pattern can indeed produce a bullish breakout. Next one here, ticker symbol AHPI. Done this one before, and I want to do this one again because it's come to life again, and it's showing the ability to move. And after today, definitely some well-defined levels. And the area here that, like I said, I think every long, short, and everybody in between that is going to be watching is down here at, let's see, what is that? That level of the $12 mark. I mean, I'm not going to count the number of times, but I mean, came down there, bounced several times today. So you're going to have all sorts of people watching that area. And while no guarantees, I can totally see, I think it's completely rational that you're going to have shorts saying, if $12 cannot quite hold up, I could see this thing headed down to the 1075, if not even lower mark. And to me, I totally see where they're at with that, because this area was a former area of resistance. And when resistances are broken, they tend to act as support, which has already happened right there. So you know that, like I said, a lot of shorts will be watching that level. But on the flip side of things, you know that there's going to be a bunch of longs watching that level because the price has proved that it likes to bounce from that area. So from a longs point of view, it's totally rational to think, well, I mean, it's bounced from there before. Let's see if it bounces up again. And if it does bounce, then from a risk-reward scenario, you could be looking at a very nice move. So keep an eye on those couple of dynamics there. But yeah, $12 without doubt, going to be a level that all sorts of people are watching. And then from a resistance standpoint, main level here in my mind is going to be that resistance trend line right there. So if the price can ultimately hold 12, work its way back up to that level and get the break up through there, that could definitely create some good upside buying pressure. But definitely a very, fascinating setup here, especially knowing that the background that this thing can move, and it's moved very quickly in the past. So we'll see if it can continue and, like I said, work its way back up there and get another breakout. So that wraps up the top 10. And again, I want to personally invite you to get signed up for the free live class that I'm offering. And it'll be, like I said, this evening, Wednesday, August 11th, 7 p.m. Eastern time. Just keep that in mind. So if you like what you saw and you want to learn more about charts, why they work, how they should be used, how they should not be used, and just why they are a great tool to help build consistency as a trader, then like I said, get signed up for it. But also, like I said, if you're watching this, let's just say on Thursday morning and it's too late, like I said, email me, clay@claytrader.com. Let me know that you'd like to see the recording, and I'll get that sent right over to you. So I realized, or maybe if you're it's too last minute and you have something going on already this evening, like I said, still get signed up and you'll be sent a recording automatically. But like I said, or just email me, whatever you prefer. But like I said, don't want you to miss out for it because I do realize that maybe a little bit last minute, but there still will be that opportunity for you to see it. And then as far as these top 10 videos are concerned, if you enjoy them, if you like this structure and would like for me to continue to make them, then please communicate that to me by hitting the like button and leaving a basic comment down below, even if you just say hi. Because yeah, these videos take time, they take effort, but I have no problem doing them as long as I know that it's worth the effort and worth the time. And like I said, the easy way to communicate that to me, hit the like button, leave a basic comment below, and then hopefully I'll see you this evening for the class. And like I said, if you can't quite make it, clay@claytrader.com, just drop me an email. But everybody take care. Hopefully you had a good one today.